What's he doing? I love all those little kisses. But I know that's only to make up for the shit that you do when I'm not looking. Sorry. The things you do when you have a kitten that gets into, onto, and through everything you own. She had this pulled halfway out of the hood. So, yeah, tied the ends. She gotten big. You gotten big. I don't think she's done growing either. That's our siren talking. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is my game of meows. Ow! Thank you. As I was saying before I got clawed, is my game of meows coffee mug. This was a Christmas gift, but I can't remember which daughter gave it to me. It was either my oldest or my middle daughter. Unfortunately, I can't remember. But in our game of meows, I do know where I got this. I have the Hampstead green tea and mint. This is from the box of teas that my brother got me for this Christmas from Hampstead. I'm going to be trying another one later. So let's go ahead and give this a sip so we can get started. I'm smelling a little bit of the mint. Oh, that's nice already. I'm looking forward to tasting that a little bit later. That's nice. That's nice. I might have to get more of those in the mint, depending. Some mints get kind of bitter towards the end of their steep life for me. So, but so far so good. All right, so today we are doing this look, this Get Ready With Me, and we're actually using a couple of older palettes in the mix, and two of them are the Violet Voss Pro hashtag, which is still available, and the other one is the Nomad Verna Amore y Muerte, their Love and Death, which I'm pronouncing incredibly wrong. And we're going to talk about them at the end of the thing, because these were the two that I actually felt I should talk about. The other two that I use, which will be introduced when we actually do the look, it performed as expected, so we're going to talk about these two. One that's really old and another one that is not quite so old, but we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to talk about it. So this is the look. You have to pardon my inner corners are already falling apart, and once they start to go, they start to go. But this is our look, and you're going to see more of it later. So if you're interested in the look, you're interested in these palettes, just keep on watching. All right, so as you see, we're going to do that 50-50 with the black base from Beauty Creations. I believe it is. Are you from Beauty Creations? I think it's from Beauty Creations, as I have to dig for it. I just put it away. Yes, it's from Beauty Creations. As you all know, I got that in an ice cream box, and we're doing it with the white base. Now, why do I do it this way? I honestly much prefer under my brow to be nice and bright and light to help bring out my eyes. And I did try the black base all over, and I just really didn't like the effect of darkening everything. So we're just going to darken the stuff across the lid, and we're just doing that. And we're starting with the Saints, Angels, Sinners, and Ice Cream Beauty Friendsgiving palette. I don't know if this is still available anywhere. However, I do have another palette we're going to be using that I do know is still available, which was kind of surprising because it's an older palette. And we're going to get this color Veggies, which doesn't look anything like veggies because it's pink. Pinkish mauve. And we're going to put that under the brow. Oh, good thing I have a plan, because that went on nice and dark. That is there. That said hello. I'm here. That's fine. We're going buff that out all over. I did try to get a nice even edge with the black. I'm not too worried about it. It's in the crease. Y'all know the way I do my eyes. Nobody's going to notice it anyway. Besides having the hooded eyes, just, you know. And we're going to just do one eye at a time, like we have been doing. Okay, so now I'm going to grab one of the new Moira Chroma lights. This is in number 12, Rosé. Let's open up the thing. Ta-da. She's pretty pale, pinky color. Grab another fluffy brush. Grab some of that on the end. I don't know what happened to all my little mirrors. And I'm going to start from the top down, and we're going to apply that over this color, which ended up being much darker than I thought it would be. And that rosé is going to add a little bit of sheen. Since it's not really much of a different color other than just being shiny, I don't think it's going to lighten anything up. But I have found that so far, from my use of these, they are very good as toppers. Okay, so she is still dark, but I think I can live with that. I like that. I like that. It's a pretty color. It works. It works. It's darker than I expected. Probably go over it with something light if I really wanted to, but we're just going to move along. Got a lot to get done today, folks, and I am running late. We are running late. All right, so the next is another older palette, which actually is still available on the website, for which I'm pretty pleased. I am going to get a sponge. I'm going to go ahead and do my thing. All right. And that older palette is the Violet Voss Pro hashtag. I've had this for quite some time. I haven't been using it much recently, but I really do love it. Love the colors. And it still generally works for me. There's a couple of them that are kind of dry, but some of the mattes don't quite work out so well anymore. But it is one of the palettes that was one of my favorites to start with. This is one of the palettes that made me realize that I really appreciate color. And one of the first companies that's did pretty well on my inner corner. Not fantastically compared to some of the stuff I get now, but pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and use this color Throwback on my inner corner. Quite an appropriate color to use, Throwback, because I'm using a Throwback palette, right? I love the orangey reddish tone to this one. I think it's going to go very pretty with what I'm doing. I'm going to put that on the inner corner over this dark base. I've never used this one over a dark base. But like I said, I haven't been using this palette much. I'm actually hoping to bring it out more this year and try to use it a bit more. It's one of my older palettes. It's quite a few years old. And it needs some love, baby. I haven't actually purchased much from... I haven't purchased anything from Violet Voss lately. That is sad. That is sad. Well, nice. Just like I remember it. I'm not unhappy with that. All right. So both of these palettes are done for now. I have two others. I don't know if I'm going to use them both. I have to decide which one I want to use on my middle of my lid. I think we're going to take the Nomad Verona Amore y Muerte palette. I can talk. And we're going to use this medium pink Romeo right here. As you all recall, I've had some problems with this palette, which is why I haven't pulled it out much recently. I'm going to do that on the other end of my spongy brush. spongy sponge tip thing. But I want to give some of these older ones more of a chance. My first palette was so bad I just didn't want to deal with it. But this is the replacement palette they sent me. I have to say that this still, uh-oh, I picked the wrong color. This is more of a topper shade. This is why I had problems with this palette, because we had things like this going on. I'm trying to decide what to do now, because that isn't going to do much, is it? No, that's not going to do much at all. And this is why I don't mess with this palette much. It is kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this matte. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with this matte Love. Well, you kind of ruined my day. We'll come back to that. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so, yeah, this is what I'll do. This is the Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake from Glamlight. I'm going to go ahead and use this color New Blood in the middle, and then we'll put the pink over it. How's that? We'll try that. As I try to find a brush. I have all these brushes out. Okay, so we're going to use this brush. Grab this. And we're going to put this over the middle. Work it into some of that, a little bit into that edge of that orange. She is so dark. That pink is making her seem kind of purpley. But we're going to go ahead and do that right over there. And then we're going to try the pink over that. Try the pink over that. Okay. Yeah, this is not a favorite palette of theirs. And I'm really looking forward to getting the new one. Unfortunately, they're not taking Afterpay right now. So they apparently revamped their site or went to a new system for their sales or something. And so they're taking Shop Pay at the moment and not Afterpay. I do know some companies take both of them. So I have suggested to them to consider taking both of them. All right, so that is just not doing. That turned it into a purple. I don't like that at all. Let me try this color Cupid over that whole mess. Will this work? Probably not. One of the things is these shimmer shades in here are just problematic, I think. They do not have the same kind of usability as the ones in their previous palettes. Okay, that's actually kind of pretty. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I like that purplish sheen. There is nothing pink about that. People going down and out today and interrupting me. So as I was saying, the mattes on this particular palette are great. Still not my favorite formula, but the shimmers are definitely problematic for me. We'll be getting back to that for the matte. We're going to get back into the Camp Crystal. And on this outer corner, we're going to use Camp Blood, which is a brighter color, but because of the black, won't be so bright. And again, I'm going up over that edge a little bit Trying to buff things out and make it so that it's much more of a blend than a line. Okay. And I ended up not using as many lighter colors as I thought I would. Anyway, what do I want to do? So I was thinking about using this color Dagger, but I'm thinking that that might be too close to the color that's under my brow. But if I don't use Dagger, I have to find a different color for the crease. Let's use this color Dark. Yeah, I'm going to use this color Dark for the point. It seems a little dark for me, but it's going to fit the theme, right? It fits the theme that we're doing right now. Let me find a brushy brush for what I want to do. I have all these brushes out. I pulled out a whole bunch of them so I could pick and choose. And I'm struggling to pick and choose. It's just me. All right, so we're going to use this color Dark. Gonna grab some Dark. And yes, I'm using the small mirror again. And that's going to go in the crease and up. Oh, it kind of fits right in there. It almost blends in. Almost. That might be partly the brush I'm using. But we're bringing it out. Now, this is one of my YC collection brushes. It is very fluffy and soft, which helps you get a really good blend up near the top. Yeah, it's a bit lighter than what we put up on in there. It's more of a berry, whereas that red ended up more of a brown. I don't mind that. We are doing actually fairly close to what I wanted to do. Fairly close. Okay. I like that. This is not going to be a light look. It looks light to you guys, but on my end, it does not look that light. So, meow. Hi, she has been wanting to be the doll today, haven't you? And then, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go back into Camp Crystal Lake. Had to test that color. And we are gonna grab, hopefully, the Camp Crystal Lake, which looks really green on here, but actually came up kind of grayish. And is dark enough that if it does come up on the green end, it's not gonna look like Christmas on this eye. Which is always a concern. We don't want to look like Christmas. And I'm going to try first this pointy brush. It may not work. We're going to get it damp. And then we're going to grab some of this, hopefully. Oh, she's coming up. Will she come up on my eye? Probably. So we're going to go over, I'm going to about reach where the bronzy color starts and go in the crease. Yeah, she's in there. She's not dramatic. but she is doing what I want her to do and making that defining line for me. And then I'm going to move her out a bit. Going down here, touch. I think I'm really happy with that. We are starting to lose just a little bit in the crease here, but that's standard for me. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. All right, so I'm going to go and finish my face, and then we will come back and we'll do the standard stuff that I do when I'm doing these things. I don't have anything new I'm really trying, so we don't really have much to talk about, but we'll come back and do all the things. We'll do all the things. We'll see you in a few. All right, so here is our look. I have to say, I actually really like it. I was afraid that this was going to be too dark, but I really think it all fits. And despite the struggle with the Nomad palette, I actually really like this look. Do forgive, I have had to touch up on the inner corners. We'll talk about that in a minute. But here is the look close up. I know there's some errors in there with the eyeliner up in the crease. For some reason, one of the sides got a double line. I don't know why. I didn't do it that way. But there we go. That's our look. I'm still pretty pleased with the way the whole thing comes out. Because my eyes are hooded, nobody's going to see that double line. If I were to go out with this to dinner or something, nobody would see that double line. And with my glasses hiding a whole lot of shit anyway, yeah, no one's going to notice that. I'm learning to let go of the little things. I'm trying anyway. All right, so let's talk about these two palettes like I mentioned at the beginning. So the Violet Voss Pro hashtag is still available on the site, which I am very glad it's still on the site. I will say this is one of the first palettes that actually stood up to my eyes. But as you can see, it does, from what I've said, I've already had to retouch it. It doesn't stand up as well as some of my newer stuff does. This, like I've repeatedly said, this is not a deal breaker for me. Most palettes don't stand up to my inner eyes. I do not know why my inner eyes do what they do, but this was one of the first palettes that actually stood up to them and did well, and I still love this palette. I haven't used it as much because, you know, I get a lot of makeup. So sometimes a lot of my older stuff, my older favorites, get pushed aside for newer favorites. I am going to try to keep this out and use this more. I will say I did bump up that inner corner a little bit with a similar color from Moira's eye shows, star shows. Right there, you can see the color is very, very similar. And interestingly enough, once I put this on to repair, I actually was able to just dip in here and just repair it. So that was really nice. It actually, the Moira actually seemed to help with the brush usability for taking care of the inner corners. I much prefer using a brush to repair. I find them a little easier to control than, say, the sponge tip, and they have a way that I can do, it's just easier to work with in terms of repair. So I do still highly recommend this palette. These colors are gorgeous. The palette itself is gorgeous. The mattes are nice. And as you can see, I've dug into it quite a bit. And I'm going to try to keep it out and try to use it some more. The only color in here I think is questionable for me is this black, which, as you see, can come up. It starts off really nice, but it comes up a bit dusty. So it needs to be built up. It's not one of the best blacks around that I've had. Okay, so let's talk about the Verona palette. I'm going to say that this is still not going to get that much use from me. I'm not going to get rid of it. This is the replacement palette they sent to me. It does perform a little bit better than the first palette I got. However, the mattes, they're great. They're wonderful. Obviously, you saw the color come up. The mattes do beautifully on this palette. But the shimmers, some of these shimmers are just toppers, which is fine. But most of them perform with far less pigment than what I'm used to from Nomad shimmers. And add to that that they just seal up. And I don't know if you're going to see it. I don't know if you're going to see it at all. Let's see, where are we? So I don't know if you're going to see, but you can see how both of those have sealed up, and those are the two I used. And they sealed up pretty damn good on the second eye. So the shimmers in here are just not up to Nomad's usual quality. Unfortunately, this is a palette I don't recommend. We're going into Valentine's season. We're going to see a lot of palettes with this kind of pinky color story. These grungy colors seem to be coming in a little bit. You know what? You could actually probably get the other palette that I used for some of these colors. No, not quite. I was going to suggest the crystal, but I mean, it does have the dark blue. It does have sort of the color dark, but it's not as dark. But in general speaking, you can probably find most of these colors in other palettes somewhere. Maybe not all together. I do like the fact that these are all together and they're absolutely beautiful. But the shimmers are just, sorry, they're just terrible in this one. And I hate to say that. But this is not a favorite palette of mine. It will never be a favorite palette of mine. I really love what I managed to accomplish in the center when we were trying to use those two pinks. I do love that sort of purpley sheen that we got across the middle of my eye. But would I want to fight this palette to make those again? No. No. Just no. Probably not. I would probably see if I could try to find something else that would do something similar, because they are not, the shimmers in this just are not good. So I do not recommend this palette. I recommend, if there's colors in here that you really enjoy, I recommend trying to find them somewhere else, because this ain't going to do it for most people I know. And it's interesting to note that Angela Nyquist actually did better with this palette than I did, and even she said it wasn't going to be on her favorites list. So those are the two main palettes I wanted to talk about, and that's pretty much it for the day. I hope you like what we did here. I am just digging my hair right now. This cranberry, I'm going to be talking about it. Probably talked about it by now, but I've been using Lunar Tides, and I actually doubled up this cranberry, and now it's lightened up to a point where I'm really digging this color. Anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, you may want to take a look at changes and new stuff that I like in hair care and skincare. Should be up before this particular video, I think. Anyway, so with that, we are done. If you've made it all the way through, I would love to see a purple heart down below as a response and a comment. And if you've liked what you've seen, I hope that you will do all those YouTube-y things and like and subscribe and share and do those things. I'd appreciate that as well. It gives us a little bit of a bump up on the algorithm. And in the meantime, we are going to go ahead and sip our tea and get on out of here. So you can move on, and I've got other things to film because I did get ready with me. Anyway, all right, let's give this a sip and we can go ahead and move on. Okay, so I'm getting that mint faintly. This has steeped long enough. It's steeped for at least 10 minutes. So hopefully it's at its good full flavor. And it's as delicious as it was at the beginning, I'm hoping. Okay, so I slightly oversweetened this. And what is interesting is I think the mint has not faded, but mellowed just a little bit. It's really a nice, just a nice refreshment kind of thing. Oh, I wonder what this would be like cold. Honestly, I really wonder what this would be like cold. That's really nice. Hampstead, you got me on your green tea and mint. That's a really good. I think that's going to go in my little pouch to buy more of. Anyway, so that's it. Gotta say, I love my girls. I love my dragonettes, and I hope you have a good one.